in acid until they're dry.
So as a band, we decided to just play the Deftones show and hope for the best in the scene. The show was really something we couldn't turn down. When we got to the venue, there was this energy in the air. And then the doors opened and the people flooded in. When I got on stage, it was dead quiet. I looked out and saw 2,000 people looking back at me. I looked at Dave, I looked at Dusty, and I thought to myself, we're here, let's do something special. I wish I could tell you that I thought the band was amazing that night, but we weren't. We were average. But what I saw in Dusty, I will never forget. A frontman came out of Dusty that I didn't know existed. I mean, he let loose every fucking ounce of anger and pain and fury that he had. By the end of it, everybody in the crowd was pumping their fist. There was huge mosh pits. Even the security guards were screaming. And at one point, Dusty decided to crowd surf. So he leaped from the stage to the crowd. As he got rolled back on stage, he hit the corner of his eye on a monitor. And I didn't realize how bad he was bleeding until we were about halfway through the next song. And then Dusty just looks at me with this crazy look in his eye. And I looked back at the crowd, and they loved it. We didn't miss a beat. And none of us will ever forget the crowd response we got as we walked off that stage. We all went home that night and laid down and just had the voices of the crowd ringing in our ears. I mean, I could still hear it today, perfectly. It was the sound of opportunity. And although all of us knew the night was a success, none of us had any idea of what was to come.
As I warm up, the room starts to blow. The people say I'm down, but I already know. It all starts to build. This the power of the mic. The room wants to burn. That's the match that we strike. So jump up and slam and bring the shit right. I grow naturally with no hits or no bite. Come step up to this, and I'll fix you a tone. When the shit goes boom. 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 You rise to your feet when I come complete. The rhymes that I kick have a 35-inch beat. Cause I drop the bombs like the truth of Desert Storm. Fuck with this bull and you gotta get the horn. But I got my solutions for blood and confusion. And I call no one the man. The world's in my hands, smooth like beach sand. Let the stage as our land. When the shit goes boom.
And just like that, we went from being another band in the scene to the band in the scene. And honestly, I felt like it was our duty to give back to the scene. You see, I knew a certain amount of luck and timing went into us aligning with 103.3. And with every spin they gave us, and with every show we played, our power in the scene increased. You see, before we aligned with 103.3, when the band wanted shows, I would have to call the clubs and beg them to let us play. But now all the clubs were calling us, and they were giving us any night that we wanted, and they were offering us 10 times the money that we would usually make. But the coolest thing was now we had the power to break other bands into the scene.
We just gotten started, so we were playing for our friends. So it'd be 25 people when we do that, When we got to a mother show that we had to open up for them at Mary's. We were the first band, and we could not get in the door. It was just, the windows were fogged over. It was irate.
They were gigantic, 35-inch mutters who brought us into Des Moines.
Whether a band had played once or twice or not at all, we didn't care. They can play for us, and if our crowd liked them, they'd go see them. This was a way to build the scene, and that was our goal from day one.
And then all this talk started around the town, and this hearsay, and all these bands started. New kids started developing bands, and you have little 35-inch mutter spin-off bands, so it really started building the scene.
Fortunately, this guy right here, Dave, he took me up to see a band called 35-inch mutter up in Ames. You guys are playing the Long Shot, and also I'm like, holy crap. Man, that's one thing that got me all pumped up to start writing music and get going, And then 1 year later, after we were playing, there's all these little baby bands starting right up again. And I don't mean babies by their age, but just starting up, you know. And by the end, like you said, there was 30, 40, 50 bands out there.
I moved to Iowa from New York in 1998, and when I got here, I had no friends. I would drive to Des Moines and watch Smack Dab, Mutter, Dead Front, Painface. I would watch all these bands and just think, holy hell, I am in the middle of something that I never thought I would be, which I see these bands on TV all the time and sitting right in my own backyard. There's talent that is just begging for an opportunity to have the world hear what it has to say.
And I think those bands were very good. Comparatively, you know, being able to play out of town and go to a lot of other cities, it's rare that you'll find a band that was as good as Smack Dab or, you know, Dead Front or Mutter. Even, you know, it's like looking back, you know, to see that many good bands like in one scene, that was impressive.
It was incredible. I mean, there were so many bands popping up. I mean, back in the day, if you saw 1 or 2 local shows a month, that was doing pretty good. But now, there were 5 or 6 venues that were housing local music shows every weekend. I mean, there were so many bands, and not just a lot of bands, a lot of great bands. But the most rewarding thing about all of it was the new family that I found. And when I use the word family, I mean it. I mean, it was really like a family. In some weird way, we all seemed connected in our struggles to make a difference, you know, and we helped each other out whatever way we could. I mean, whether it was helping somebody through a drug problem or helping a friend get a gig for his band or, you know, sharing equipment or when money ran out, hey, you can live with me. I mean, it was that type of thing. And we all got along and we all supported each other because we felt what we were doing was special.
Corey Brown, it's Laser Local Licks, shooting this one out to Toby in prison. He's all locked up. It's index case.
Hey, record this.
Once daily.
This guy's voice is,
Local Licks,
I think this is like
check it out.
This guy's voice is just awesome. I mean, the band doesn't have a bass player right now, but I think this dude, you should see him live. He's got that something special. Best he has, man. It's fucking awesome. Check his voice out. The drummer's awesome too.
What's that like? What's that like?
They were all really, really good bands. Everybody was a tight scene. There was not too much drama going on as a music scene between the bands. Everybody got along, was on albums together, sang together, played together.
And I saw bonding friendships between bands and collaborations. Like, I mean, one that sticks out in my head is when Bone and Dave from Mutter collaborated with Taco and God Kill God and came out with this song that to me was one of the best God Kill God songs.
See Bone, the punk ass bitch with the Dickies and Adidas, switch the Pumas when Korn did. So afraid to not loving me.
Just seeing stuff like that, it just makes you feel good, you know? So back then, everything was awesome.
In our little corner of the world, we were now the Des Moines, Iowa music scene. And to a lot of us, that was everything. That was our life. It gave us hope. I mean, these are the things that we took on the stage with us. And every weekend, we gave our stories away to anybody who would listen.